Well, hello, hello. How's it going? Fix this light a little bit. Okay, that's good, I guess. Um, yeah. So it's been a while. I finished Malazan Book of the Fallen, and I thought it'd be nice. I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of rank the 10 Book of the Fallen books and just sort of give my I don't know small review. I'll keep it spoiler free. So I won't go into like too much detail about like characters and character deaths and who lives, who dies. I'll keep it very vague. Just sort of going over my I don't know overall thoughts and feelings and how I kind of felt about the books. Now I will say that I love all 10 of these books. All of these books are masterpieces in my mind. But there's 10, and some are gonna be my favorite. Some are gonna be, not my favorite, I guess. But that doesn't say that. That's not to say that any all these books are amazing, and I had a great time reading them, and they all have their pros and cons for sure. And yeah, with that being said, I'll get into it with my number 10 pick. Would probably be Gardens of the Moon, book one. Um, which I think is a testament to the series. I feel like so many times I read trilogies or I'll read long book series, and the first book like really grips you and really just captures your imagination. And for a lot of times, like book one is probably like the best book in the Law series, and sometimes the later books aren't as great or they kind of fall off. But with Malazan, I feel like each book gets better and better. And that's not to say that book one is bad. I think and this is kind of going off my own first my own first read through, I should say. Maybe on reread, this book would be higher up. Um, it just the pacing was kind of slow sometimes. I think um, sometimes it was kind of confusing, just kind of getting a sense of the characters and the world. But book ones are hard, you know. I think book ones are difficult to write because you're setting up a lot of the world, you're setting up a lot of the characters, the magic, the expectations. So book ones is hard for a lot of them because I think they have a lot of heavy lifting to do for the series. But that being said, book one was such a in many ways a breath of fresh air just because the sky's the limit, right? I have no idea where we're going. I was excited to kind of start this journey, but there were some times I did find frustrating, and I did have to kind of go back and reread a few sections just to kind of get I don't know, get my understanding of what was happening. But I think book one is a great starting point, and I would say if you like book one, then I think you're gonna have a great time with the series. If you're struggling with book one, then I think you should definitely read on to book two. And by book three, I think if you're not really into book three, then I don't think this series is for you. But yeah, I think book 10, well, book one, ranking number 10, I think is a great start to Malazan. And yeah, I think it's a good book. Number 9, however, I think if you watch my reviews, this might be a little bit of a hot take, but Reaper's Gale, book 7, is my number 9 spot. I don't know what to even say about this book. I haven't already said in my review. I'll keep this very spoiler free, but I just think book 7, in many ways, it's like I mean, of course, now knowing what I know now, this was setting up a lot. This was setting up the end game for a lot of characters and for a lot of just like in for the story itself. Um, I I definitely think the second half of this book is a lot better than the first half of this book. I just think there's a lot of like meandering around, a lot of walking around, and I think it has this thing of like being a sequel to book five, but also a sequel to book six, and that'll make more sense when you read books five, six, and seven. Um, but I think it doesn't really do a great job in either of those parts. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great moments and great parts in this book, it just didn't do it. There just wasn't enough for me to rank it higher. Maybe on reread it'll be higher, but yeah, it's a shame because there's a lot of great stuff in this book too. Towards the end of the series, towards the end of this book, there's a lot of great um, fight scenes and battles and the ending, and we it's called Reaper's Gale, and we unfortunately lose a lot of characters in this book. A lot of characters that I loved and enjoyed. I won't get into who makes and who dies, but yeah, it sucks because a lot of good stuff happens in this book, but it just kind of drags on for me a lot for the first like half. And these aren't short reads, so half of that is like 400 or 500 pages. So yeah, it was a struggle. I won't lie, it was a struggle for me to get through Reaper's Gale, my number 9 pick. Um, Number 8, I would have to put as, and this maybe might not be as controversial, maybe I don't know, but House of Chains. Where did I even begin? House of Chains, I feel like is one of those like I think on reread it gets a lot more praise because you pick up on a lot of foreshadowing and even like even kind of just marinating and thinking about it. There was a lot of foreshadowing in this book, and of course foreshadowing for later on in the series, and obviously for like the end of the series, there's a lot of foreshadowing as well. And it just kind of a lot of that obviously kind of goes over your head when you're first reading for the first time. Um, there is a character in this book, and I think your enjoyment of this, whether or not you like this book, kind of depends if you like this one particular character that it gets introduced. He is, I like his character. I think he is. I don't know if he's one of my favorite characters, but I really enjoy this new particular character. He is quite controversial, so there is that. Um, I just feel like coming off of Memories of Ice, book 3. This is book 4. If I want to say it's like a letdown. The ending definitely. I feel like when I first read the ending, I felt like it was a little bit anticlimactic. But I'm finishing this series. I think I have a newfound appreciation for this ending, for the ending in this book, and I think it definitely pulls at my heartstrings a lot more, having reached the ending. But yeah, it's this book's all over the place. I think the first fourth of this book is really good, but I think it kind of suffers towards the end. Towards the ending, but I think the beginning is very good, and then the middle is kind of like meandering, kind of whatever. But I think the ending is very good, though. I think the ending, on hindsight, is one of my favorite endings. But yeah, I think um, House of Chains is probably my seventh. I think I said, yeah, seventh favorite book in my ranking. Or what, 8, 9, 10. But next we have Dead House Gates, book 2. This was kind of hard for me to rank because I enjoyed Dead House Gates a lot when I first when I was reading it. I enjoyed it, but I also was very very frustrated with reading it because it's your second Malazan book. It's your first time switching continents, and like it throws a lot at you, honestly. So it throws a lot at you, and it's very very confusing to say the least. And you're introduced to new characters, new world, new climate, new culture. It throws a lot at you, and Steven Erickson as an author improves immensely in terms of prose, sentence structure, writing, everything. Just between Gardens and Deadhouse Gates is like it's exponential growth. So it did take me a little bit to get reaccustomed to like his new writing style. A little bit, I won't lie. But the ending of this is crazy. I enjoy the ending of this book. It was, yeah, it's up there in terms of endings for me. It definitely is one of my probably favorite Malazan endings. Um, Leaving it again very spoiler free and very vague. I honestly think if you weren't really crazy about gardens, read Dead House Gates. I feel like if you're not into if you hate if you hated Gardens of the Moon and Dead House Gates, then I mean read Memories of Ice, but I feel like this this hooked me. I loved Gardens and I love Memories of Ice, but after reading Dead House Case, I was like, oh, okay, I'm finishing this series. That's what I'll have to say. The next pick is probably going to be a little controversial to say the least. I think some people are probably already mad at me for my selection already, but might be a little bit surprising. But my next pick is Dust of Dreams. Now I know this is crazy because this is a lot of people's least favorite Malazan book. It usually is like number 10 for a lot of people, and it's not for me because I don't know. I think it's so how it all works. So books 9 and 10 are essentially just one big book. So this is like the first half of like the ending of Malazan, and for a lot of people, I think your enjoyment of this book really hinges on if you are cool with like there's two, three different plot lines that kind of get thrown into this book at the very end, or in the very beginning of this book. I guess the end of the series, but I feel like your enjoyment of this book depends on if you like those plot lines. And I didn't hate those plot lines. I enjoy those plot lines a lot. Um, I think they're really interesting. And looking back on the end of the series and the end of Malazan, Book of the Fallen, a lot of my favorite moments are in this book. Don't get me wrong, Cripple God has a lot of great scenes, great moments, great battles, but like a lot of the things that I remember happen in this book. A lot of the great you know, epic battles and scenes and dialogue and moments and happen a lot in this book. And I didn't hate the plot lines I'm talking about. If you watch my review, you'll know what I'm talking about. But here I'll keep it spoiler free. Um, so yeah, I very much enjoy this book. It definitely is not like my favorite Malazan book. I think it's very much middle of the road, I would say. Hence it being sort of like in the middle. So yeah, I think it deserves a spot here in my opinion. And the ending of this is the most epic battle scene. like you'll know when you read it. Like it's pretty fucking epic, to say the least. Where am I right now? Like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So this is number 5 um is the fifth book, Midnight Tides. Now, I don't think this is very controversial. I think a lot of people might have this a little bit higher, maybe some people have it sort of right here, but book 5, first of all, very ballsy of Steven Erickson to have your fifth book in the series be a prequel, but you should still read this all in publication order. Um, it opens up essentially like the last continent and where eventually we sort of are heading towards the end game. This isn't quite the end game, but it's picking up the pieces. I guess is moving the pieces around essentially. Um, this is just like I just had a blast reading this book. I just had a blast reading. I love the Tis Ador. I love just the characters. I love I won't get into who, but we learn a lot more about a certain character that we I guess met in House of Chains. We learn more about his backstory, and we learn more about his family life. And this really is just like a Shakespearean like tragedy. It's sad. It's but also very very funny. It's like you get introduced to two new characters, and you'll know when you read this book what I'm talking about. But we get introduced to this probably one of the most funniest comedic duo, maybe in this book, but I think literally in fantasy that I've read. I like as dark and depressing as Malazan gets, and it gets dark and depressing. There's also just so many moments of lightheartedness and just like comedy. And does every joke land? No, but that's like humor subjective, and not everything I find funny people are gonna find funny, and that's fine. And vice versa. So like I just had a great time just sort of winding down, just like picking up Midnight Tides, and just I don't know. I think this is ultimately a book about brothers, and I have two older brothers and stuff, and I have siblings, so I think this would hits a lot more when if you have brothers and siblings and kind of can relate to that sort of like, especially if you are like the younger child. Um, so this is my fifth pick, I guess. That's number four, number five, I should say. Um, number number four is the Bone Hunters. I I felt spoiled because I loved Midnight Tides. Um I love the Bone Hunters. I was eating good. And, I had a blast reading Bone Hunters. I absolutely just love this book. It's like it's kind of this is the start of convergence. This is the start of like everything kind of coming together a little bit. There is a chapter in this book that I like all I have to say is you'll know when you know, but read that chapter. You should read that in one go. don't don't start chapter 7 at like midnight. Okay, like start that in the middle of the day. It's a great book. Um, so I think I had a lot of blast seeing my favorite characters come back again. Because a lot of characters Malazan has this thing where some characters you meet a character in book 2 or 3 or whatever, and then like you won't really see him again for like 3 or 4 books. That's typical for like big epic long fantasy like this. The Wheel of Time. That there's some characters. Sometimes you don't you have a book where like one of your main characters just isn't even in that book, and so I'm not like I'm kind of used to that. But Bone Hunters just felt like a homecoming in many ways. I felt like, oh my god, like we got all my favorite characters are in one book together, and they're battling, they're fighting, and it's just a great it's just a great read. It's a great time. What I say is the most like is the deepest book. I don't know. I have to probably reread it, but like from what I remember, this book was just a blast to read, and I think I read it pretty quickly from what I remember. Um, so now we're getting into my top three, and for my top three, I think it's hard to. I mean, they change throughout the day. They change day by day, week by week, month by month. I think this is how I feel right now in this moment, but I could easily these last three can go in any particular order. It's just kind of like what I'm feeling right now. Um, Number three is the Crippled God. Um, So some of you might be like, "Oh, book. Why is the last book not your favorite one?" It is. I mean, like I said, these last 3 books, I feel like could be in any order. It's just like how I'm feeling kind of right now. But book 10, is a hell of a ride. It is everything. Is it perfect? No. But no book, no ending. Endings are hard, Endings are hard, man. I love everything about this book. I love every um, you know, character um sort of resolution. No, I can't say I do. Um, but I still had a blast with reading this book, and I still had a great time reading this book. And there's so much action and just battles and just again more humor, more just it's thematically is everything I want it to be. And when I finished this book, I cried. I mean I cried in all 3 of these last books. That's why they're top 3. It's an amazing ending, it's an amazing ride. Um, Starts off a little slow in the beginning, but I think that's because book 9, the first half, kind of ends on a very big battle. So I think you have to kind of, you're everyone's kind of licking their wounds a little bit. But man, it is a great this is a great book. Um, I think if you made it this far, you won't be disappointed. But yeah, this is number 3, the Cripple God. Next, we have my second favorite. Again, these are interchangeable. These last 3, but is Toll the Hounds. Maybe a controversial pick because I feel like Toll the Hounds is very much like the black sheep of the franchise. A lot of people, I think, a lot of people love this book, and a lot of people hate this book. But I think it all kind of depends on how you feel about a certain character and their narration, I guess. But I'll leave it at that. Um, yeah, I absolutely love this book. There's so it's essentially just your it's like if you put Gardens of the Moon and Memories of Ice together and just kind of mesh. I mean, there's is essentially is like a sequel to those books. More so, I would say Gardens, just because you're picking up a lot of where those characters left off and stuff. Um, but wow, what a fucking ride this book is, and probably one of the best endings. I mean, there's a lot of great endings in this series. Don't get me wrong. The Crippled God, there's tons and tons of amazing endings in this series, but the ending of book 8, the book of Toll the Hounds, is one of the best in the series, and maybe one of the best in fantasy. It's just epic. It's I cried so many times, and just like even the slow down, personable moments, I just loved so much in this book. It really is a beautiful book, and it just is a testament to Steven Erickson as a writer and as an author. And yeah, this is a book that I mean, I can't wait to reread all these books someday, but this is very much a book that I'd be looking forward to on reread, just to relive that feeling again. And yeah, number 2, book 8. Now, last but not least, you probably can guess which book this is. I've been talking about this entire time. It's my favorite book in the series. It is Memories of Ice, book 3. I don't even know. Again, is this book perfect? No. I could name some criticisms and things that I like and don't like, but I can do that for all these books. This is just your quintessential fantasy. Like, this is just like epic battles, awesome moments, character development. Just it's just everything I want it to be. It is just so much in this book is amazing, and I cried at the end of it. It was I've never have I ever laughed, cheered, cried so much in the book before, and it's just everything I want it to be, man. It is just a hell of a ride, hell of a roller coaster. If please, if you do decide to read Malazan, please try to get to Memories of Ice. I know Gardens of the Moon can be confusing. Deadhouse Case can be kind of a slog in the middle sometimes, but like Memories of Ice is just like it's like your dessert after eating all your vegetables. It's just everything I want in a fantasy series. With an ending like this in a book 3, I mean, god damn, was I spoiled reading this book. It's just yeah, it's just an amazing book. And I mean, all these books are fantastic. And like I said, like these last my top 3 pretty interchangeable. Like I could see the Crippled God is sometimes my top pick. Sometimes this is like number 3, number 2. But it's after thinking about it for a little bit, I think this is how I feel right now. And these are all subject to change later on, and probably when I do a reread at some point. But yeah, Memories of Light, Memories of Ice. Shout out Wheel of Time. Memories of Ice is my favorite book in the series. My God. But yeah, I think that'll do it for my ranking. I try to leave that very spoiler free, so you can all make your own decisions, and let me know your rankings. I'm sure I pissed a lot of people off by putting Reaper's Gale so below, because I see that a lot of people do like that book, but I struggled with that book a lot. But everyone's different, and there's no right or wrong answers here. We're all just reading, we're all just enjoying reading and stuff. So let me know what your favorite books were, and yeah, I think in terms of where I want to take this channel and stuff, I think I still want to do some book reviews and reading. I think the next book I read will be Emperor of Silence in the Sun Eater series. So I think I'm gonna do a little switch. Been taking a little bit of a break, kind of reading some nonfiction here and there, just kind of give myself a little bit of a palate cleanser because I think you do need a little bit of a palate cleanser even after coming off a Malazan. So I'm happy to kind of take some time, take a little time off, and indulge in other hobbies and everything. And yeah, I think the next time we meet, I will finish Emperor Silence, and I'd be excited to kind of start this new journey with the Sunnier series. So, but until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.